Today I'll be running through how to fuel a healthy gut and why it's so important, what we can do to help improve the good bacteria in our guts, and additional lifestyle factors so that we can help keep a healthy gut. So why is gut health so important? So our gut microbiome is the trillions of microorganisms that live in our GI tract. They help impact our immune system. In fact, 70 to 80% of our immune cells are actually residing in our guts. And this gut bacteria helps protect us from infection, and it helps us manage inflammation as well. Our gut microbiome is also really important in nutrient absorption and production. It helps us produce important vitamins such as vitamin K and biotin. In addition to this, it also helps aid digestion. Another really important factor that is seen in emerging research is that we do have a gut and brain axis. And what that means is that our gut and our brain is a two-way street that is sending signals. And what we used to think is that in things like IBS and gut disorders, that they were causing anxiety and depression. And what we see now is that it's likely a two-way street in which both are impacting each other. And when we have problems with our gut, that can cause really rapid changes in our mood. So one of the biggest ways that we can help improve our gut health is to have an adequate amount of fiber. So what we are aiming for is 25 to 30 grams of dietary fiber per day. Dietary fiber is the part of foods where they are not fully broken down by our GI tract. And there are three different types of fiber. There is soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and resistant starch. So soluble fiber is the one where we're probably not getting enough of. Soluble fiber slows down the emptying process in our body, and it helps us keep fuller for longer. It helps actually reduce our cholesterol levels because it can bind with cholesterol in our body and then helps it get removed by our body. And it also helps us manage our blood glucose levels by slowing down the absorption of carbohydrates. Next is our insoluble fiber, and they also keep us feeling fuller for longer, which helps prevent overeating, and it also helps keep us regular as well. Resistant starch helps us produce healthy bacteria, and they are found in things such as unripe bananas and cooked and cooled pasta and rice. So we consider fiber a prebiotic because our gut feeds on this fiber and it helps foster the growth of healthy bacteria in our gut. When we think of fiber, we think of different colors. So our fiber comes from fruits, veggies, whole grains, legumes, and beans. And when we're having a good variety of these, we're having different colors. And each color is a different nutrient. So the more plant variety we have, the more gut bacteria diversity, so different types of bacteria in our gut. The American Gut Study actually found that 30 different plants per week resulted in a more diverse gut microbiome than just 10 different plants per week. So that's why we recommend that across the week you're having 30 different plants. And I know that sounds like a lot, but if you think about including different fruits and veggies and whole grains, so things like brown rice and quinoa also count in these different fibers, and also our legumes and beans, so throwing in some chickpeas and nuts and seeds as well. So some super easy ways to help boost our fiber intake is to choose multigrain and whole grain breads, cereals, and pastas where possible, to include at least 2 pieces of fresh fruit per day, and to include colourful veggies in all of our main meals where possible. I like to think of trying to aim for 3 different colours across lunch and dinner. So you might say red capsicum, white mushrooms, and then green broccolini, and then you've hit your 3 colours for the day. And then when you think about adding in some brown rice with that, that's 4 different types of fibres already. Another really easy way is to sprinkle psyllium husk in your smoothies, porridge, cereal, and muesli. So psyllium husk is mostly a soluble fiber, but also contains a little bit of insoluble fiber. And what this means is, because it's majority soluble fiber, is that again, it's slowing down that digestion process, allowing us to absorb more nutrients. It's helping us feel fuller for longer. It is helping reduce our cholesterol levels, and it can also help manage our blood glucose levels. What you can also do is include nuts and seeds as a snack. So a good portion size for this is just a small handful, which is about 10 to 15 nuts. We can also help reduce our red meat intake by including more legumes and beans. So if you're making a spaghetti bolognese, for example, trying to reduce that portion of red meat that you're putting it in and adding something like some cannellini beans in order to increase that fiber intake while still keeping protein intake relatively high. Another trick that I love is to eat the skin on our fruits and veggies. That's actually where most of our fiber lies. So something like a kiwi will have 50% of its fiber in its skin. So the more that you can eat the skin, if you're worried about kind of imperfections on the fruit, you can kind of just peel off that section of the fruit, but keep the rest of the skin on as well. So when we're doing things like including kiwis, we're also getting lots of different other nutrients. So 2 kiwis per day hits your vitamin C targets. And if you're thinking about including all different fruits, you'll hit different other micronutrient targets as well. So this is probably one that you've heard about. So it's our probiotic foods. They are the foods that are fermentable and they have live cultures in them. And we do know that they have a really positive impact on our gut health and that we probably could be having more of them. So our probiotic foods are our yogurts with live cultures. So when we're looking for yogurts, a lot of different yogurts will say including probiotics, but many of them will not have enough probiotics to have a meaningful impact. So we want to look for 1 billion probiotics per serve. And what that looks like is 1 times 10 to the power of 9 CFU. That's what you're looking for on the labels. Kefir is another drink that kind of tastes like a tangy yogurt. It's a little bit thicker than yogurt, and this can be included as snacks or with meals in order to increase the amount of probiotics that you're including. You can also include things like fresh kimchi or sauerkraut. Because they're fermented, they do have lots and lots of beautiful probiotics in them. Things like miso can have some probiotics in them, and kombucha is a great drink to use as an alternative to some of the sweetened beverages that you may be having. It's really important to remember that not all fermented foods will have live and active cultures, so you do have to look for them on the labels, and looking for words like live and active cultures is where you're going to find foods that contain probiotics. I often get asked, should I be taking a probiotic? And the answer is, it really depends. There are some scenarios where certain strains of probiotics can be really beneficial. But if you're just taking a bunch of probiotics and not thinking about the specific strain for different conditions, then you're likely just spending a lot of money on something that may not be giving you very much benefit. Additional lifestyle factors that impact your gut health is reducing the amount of ultra-processed and refined carbohydrates that you're having, managing your stress well, including some type of movement that you actually enjoy. So we do aim for about 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week in order to keep our hearts healthy and also our guts healthy. And of course, making sure that we're having adequate sleep. So that can look like anywhere between 6 to 9 hours of sleep per night, depending on the person. And thank you very much for having me.